region. It's Missouri State and Florida State. The winner of that game going to play Ohio State. The number 6 seed and the winner of the Dayton-DePaul game going to play Georgia.
Well, we don't have the records on our sheets here, but we'll do what we can. You know, we can't break down every single team to a T. I mean, we could if we wanted to, but it would take for a long time. So we're just gonna do it like this.
I just think from the little that we've seen lately from Howard.
The little that we've seen.
Yeah, I think.
Probably them, right? I don't.
Yeah.
Probably Howard. Let's just throw them in there, and then Longwood, Mount St. Mary's here. I don't know.
That's a good Longwood team.
Let's go with Longwood. Here's some teams we know about a little bit. But Paul, okay, I know about them. You know, just on me, I know that they're a team who has had tournament experience. They go consistently. Dayton, you know, I don't know as much about. So that's what I'm trying to say here is there's teams that I know about and there's teams I don't know about.
It is
as much.
It is tricky right now, especially looking at these first 4 games.
DePaul,
but remember,
they kind of were lucky to get it.
Yeah, they were on the bubble for sure. And this is a team coming out of the Big East that if you look at them on paper, you'd think that they're one of the best teams in the country. They had the number 1 offense, jacked up the most threes of anybody, scored the most three-pointers of anybody, and had one of the best players in the country in Anissa Morrow. And I do think that they will definitely beat Dayton, but when they play Georgia, we'll see how that goes.
Florida State, you think that one or Missouri State's pretty good though. Now here's a team that I also know about. So yeah, we know that's just from past knowledge of looking at just watching women or even just reading into women's basketball the last few years. You kind of would know Missouri State's pretty good. I don't know. Florida State must have had a down year.
Yeah, usually
they're pretty damn good, like top 4 seed or whatever.
I'm going with Missouri State.
I'm gonna go with Florida State.
Me too.
Look, this is not a great team, but Morgan Jones is a really good guard for them. They got some good inside players like River Baldwin, so I think Florida State will get that win. But when you get right down to it, they play Ohio State. I don't see them coming out there. But just get the first 4s in. That's what we did with the men's bracket. Just get those picks in, and now we'll get to the rest of the games, which the first round is March 18th and 19th, so still a couple of days from now until we have all the games starting. And first, we're going to start in the Greensboro region with top overall seed South Carolina. Again, they'll play the winner of Howard and Incarnate Word. Miami and South Florida playing the 8-9. North Carolina and Stephen F. Austin playing in the 5-12. Arizona and UNLV square off in a 4-13 game. Georgia plays the winner of Dayton and DePaul. Iowa State will take on Texas Arlington. Colorado and Creighton are playing in the 7-10. And then you have Iowa, probably, just like on the men's side, the hottest team in the country, number 2 seed, playing Illinois State. That's a team in Iowa that got a lot of respect. Getting a number 2 seed, everyone thought they would get a 3, but I think they earned that number 2 seed, beating Indiana 3 times, winning the Big Ten.
Here's what I'll say. Men's basketball, it's like a stigma. There's always upsets, like in the tournament I'm talking about. For some reason, that's just how it is. Every year there's always upsets. It doesn't matter what the teams are. It doesn't matter. These players who are on these teams, they probably watch college basketball, or and they know all about upsets, and and they know it's coming. They know it's part of the tournament, and it still happens. It'll never end. It's always gonna happen. That's just how it is. I don't know why it happens. It's like it's almost like it's supposed to happen for ratings or something, but it's actually not that way. But it's just how it happens. It's just the tournament. But, you want a conspiracy theorist would think, they're paying some of these teams to lose, to have upsets every year, to have a Cinderella story. But you know what? I mean, that's just how it is. We're not conspiracy theorists here, so you know what? I mean, I don't think that's the case. I don't think these teams are losing on purpose. No, they're not. So they're just playing. This is college basketball, not the pros. So here we go. South Carolina's going to win that game. Then you got 2 Florida teams.
Yeah, that's a Miami team that made it to the ACC championship game, beat Louisville and Notre Dame to get there.
Go with them, then.
And South Florida did not win the American Athletic Conference. UCF beat them in the championship game, so that is a 2-bid league this year. But yeah, Miami, I do like them.
Arizona and North Carolina? Or do you think an upset was Stephen F. Austin?
Definitely like Zona there. And, Stephen F. Austin is a team that could upset because, remember, this is a North Carolina team that is a good team, but they're not a great team. Again, on the women's side, we don't see nearly as many upsets, but we see maybe one or two, usually every
We
year.
see, like,
Maybe
one or two,
maybe
not
two.
many.
And that's maybe
It's-
two.
it's
Sometimes,
rare.
usually just one.
Because it's just the reason is because the men's basketball. First of all, it's like a tradition, and it's not just that. It's that I mean, they're just these. It's just like I said, it's happened for so long now. It's part of this. It's part of it. It's also they're just motivated and all this.
Stephen F. Austin's a good team, but I like North Carolina.
I'm not saying Stephen F. Austin's a
Mhm.
crap. I mean, some of those teams are good.
Yeah.
Florida Gulf Coast is pretty damn good right now, right?
Mhm.
Are they in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying all. I'm just saying some of these teams that
Yeah.
get in are.
Now the 12
like
seeds
that.
this year are really good.
There's some good.
Remember,
I'm talking 16
but yeah,
seeds here.
yeah. But the 12s are really good this year, and yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and pick Georgia here against because, like I said, upsets don't happen in this tournament, so they never do. It's always the best teams. Let's just roll with Iowa State. Let's just roll with. Now you never know about the 8, 9, 7, 10, but I'm talking about anything other than that.
I like the 7 there. Colorado's a really good team, and they have a ton of talent. Yeah, Caitlin Clark, Iowa, definitely for sure. So at this point,
Could get Iowa State, by the way.
I would love to see that, and I think that is what we're going to get because Iowa State's a high volume, high octane offensive team, just like Iowa is.
Arizona defending runner-ups could play South Carolina. Will play South Carolina.
I think, yeah, I definitely think they'll beat Carolina.
South Carolina will win and go to the Elite Eight. I think Iowa South Carolina will be a hell of a matchup.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing to see that if they play.
That will be a heck of a game, and really, not a shoo-in for South Carolina. That's an Iowa team. Remember that beat Indiana 3 times.
That was the best player on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark would be better than anybody on South Carolina, in my opinion. And Aliyah Boston, she's their best player, right?
2 Player of the Year candidates there, yes.
So I think Caitlin Clark's the best player on the floor in that matchup.
She is the best player in the country.
She's
the best.
Pick,
yeah.
Right? She's gonna be number 1 pick. She's like,
I think Caitlin Clark should be National Player of the Year this year, and
but
she's
what
in the
about,
running.
Like, Paige Bueckers played though. Who's better? Because Bueckers won last year that matchup. But I'm not saying that if they go out in the same draft, who would be number 1 in women's basketball? Because we know.
That's going to be a hard decision.
There are a lot of great women's players out there. I'm not discounting women at all. When I'm saying about the lack of upsets here, because I mean, like they're getting better and better. I mean, look, ever since they started the WNBA, there's been talented players, but they're getting better and better as the years go on. Like these two are awesome players. Who would be number 1 pick?
I don't know. I think as far as like a scorer who can go off for 50, it'd be Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And now she is averaging like 7, 8 assists as well, just like Paige Bueckers did last year. So it's not like
we can't just discount Bueckers because she's been injured the whole year.
Yeah, I think Paige would be the number 1 pick, but it's almost like
Caitlin Clark's bigger, like a lot taller, right? Or is she not a lot taller? They're pretty similar.
They're pretty much. Paige is like 5'11". I think Caitlin Clark's like 5'10", 5'11". So
really?
they're both.
They're about the same.
Yeah.
For some reason, Caitlin Clark looks taller. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's.
Sorry, but I don't know why. What I'm seeing. For some reason, she looks taller, but they're about, I guess, similar. But I thought Caitlin Clark was. She a point guard too? She's a point guard, of course, but I don't know why she looks taller. That's all I'm saying. But anyway.
And I think Iowa this year.
I like tall girls. I'll say that. But anyway, South Carolina, Iowa. Who do you pick?
I'm going South Carolina. They're the more complete team. They're probably overall by far the best defensive team in this region, and I think they will hold down the rest of the players. Even if Caitlin Clark has 35-40, you got to have Sinano pitching in. You got to have the other role players doing what they need to do. I just like South Carolina on both sides of the ball better.
Yep. All right, let's go over to that Spokane region. Okay, here we go. 116. Stanford, Montana State, and we don't have to read all these records. At least with that, we can save a little time. 8-9 is Kansas and Georgia Tech. 5-12 is Virginia Tech and Florida Gulf Coast. 4-13 Maryland, Delaware. 6-11 Ohio State, Florida State in our scenario. 3-14 is LSU and Jackson State. 7-10 is Utah and Arkansas. And 2-15 is Fairfield. Let me say that again. Fairfield's not the 2 seed. 2-15 is Texas and Fairfield. So like I said, we saved a lot of time not having to read, this and that. Oh, this, they're 5 minutes, whatever record. So anyway, let's just fill in Stanford for that first one. Kansas GT's a toss-up, though.
It is. Who you like in that one? Remember, it's a really turned around Kansas team, but
Georgia Tech beat UConn.
I have them.
I mean, I'm going to...
they're one of the best defensive teams in the country.
I'm going to go with Georgia Tech.
Me too.
I like them.
Yeah, that's a team that
going to win that one.
beat UConn, one of the best defensive teams in the country.
That could happen. Florida Gulf Coast, right here.
For sure.
Yeah.
Against VT. VT must be pretty good to be a 5 seed, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they didn't make it to the conference championship.
That's the thing.
Where did they lose in that tournament? What happened to them? Did they disappear in thin air? What the hell?
Yeah.
It's like what happened to Providence men's. Where the hell did they go?
I believe they lost to NC
That was pretty
State.
damn early.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I'll go with
I'm going
Florida.
Florida Gulf Coast. An upset.
I agree.
What the hell?
They have,
What do we have to lose? Nothing. Pick them. Pick Florida Gulf Coast. Well, I don't know. They're a pretty good team, though. Now, they're probably the best non-power team in here, right? Like, as far as
yes.
we're talking 12 seed or lower, I think this is the one upset that could happen.
Like, this is the Murray State of the women's tournament.
Like, they're big time. They've been to all these. They've been to like a lot of tournaments in a row. They're like one of the best.
Kirsten Bell, transfer from Ohio State, is a star for them, and has really had a great couple of years there.
And you with Maryland in that other game.
And really, I think Florida Gulf Coast could beat Maryland in a second round game, but we'll get to that coming up. Ohio State back in the tournament this year.
I'm going to go with them.
And
they're going to win against Florida State. Then you got LSU.
Now that's where I think Ohio State will go out because LSU is really a great basketball team with Kim Mulkey coming in this year. Number 3 seed, I think the expectations for them were much lower. They played way above that and bringing. I like LSU.
I mean, Ohio State has had a really good year as usual. They had a good year last year. At least they'll win one tournament game, in your opinion. I don't know what about me yet, but.
And then we got to look at Utah and Arkansas. Definitely feeling Texas there.
Utah and Arkansas, I don't know. I don't know much about these teams.
Remember, that's a Utah team that beat Oregon to get to the Pac-12 championship game. Arkansas lost a lot of talent from last year. Yeah.
But if it was last year, I'd go with Arkansas. They were pretty damn good. They beat UConn last year. Remember that?
Yeah, right.
Stanford, and then Maryland probably will, unless Florida Gulf Coast makes a run, but,
I like Maryland there.
And then Stanford's going to beat them. Stanford's going to beat everybody, though, here in this region. I think they're going to the Final Four all the way, right? It's pretty clear. Every year it's the favorites, and it's going to be that way again.
I think they'll run into Texas there in the Elite Eight. Texas beat Stanford, but remember, that was early in the season. And
Texas won the Big 12. They finally maybe won't be bust this year.
I have LSU playing Stanford there.
And that's also a really likely possibility. I think if LSU and Texas play, it's going to be pretty even. Both teams have a lot of talent, so there's no bad pick there.
And then Stanford in the Final Four.
Yeah, I know some are saying Texas could get out, but...
I don't know. I think Stanford's the better team.
Yeah, I think...
all right.
Yeah.
Bridgeport now, and this is where it's going to get heated with me.
All right.
Let me talk about some stuff here. Here we go.
Oh, you have NC State, the 1 seed, and we think they'll play Longwood. Washington State and Kansas State, the 8-9 matchup. 5-12 matchup, Notre Dame and UMass. 4-13, you have Oklahoma and IUPUI. 6-11 matchup, you have Kentucky and Princeton. 3-14, Indiana and Charlotte. UCF and Florida in the 7-10 matchup. And then the 2-15, UConn and Mercer. So yeah, definitely feeling NC State.
Yes, for sure. And at that point, you'd be looking at a second-round opponent either being Washington State or Kansas State.
You read them all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go with Kansas State.
Yeah, K-State, a really good team. They assist as well as any team in the country. Ioka Lee had a 61-point game earlier this year, and I think she would give NC State some trouble, but obviously NC State would come out of there. Notre Dame, definitely against UMass, Oklahoma, good team.
Kentucky, Indiana would be a good matchup.
I think Kentucky will get out of there, but watch out for Princeton.
Pretty good, by the way.
Ivy League champions. That's an 11 seed that could win that game, but Kentucky, remember, they just beat South Carolina for the SEC championship, so...
Kentucky's going to win that game, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Princeton, they're good, but Kentucky won the conference.
It'll be close because
Right, don't they have Ryan Howard?
Yeah.
She's not gonna let that happen, right?
Yeah, but I think you got to look at Kentucky
Hell
on a
no.
definitely not. But
I can't
but
see
but
that
one thing I'll
upset.
say is you got to look at Kentucky on a game by game basis because
Well, who they lose?
they don't have a great record.
Really? What's their record?
I believe they're like 19-12, something like that.
And then you'll have.
But I think they
Must
will
be
win.
a tough conference.
And then you'll
But definitely going to win that game, I think.
Then you'll have.
How about UCF Florida? That's a toss-up.
UCF is one of the best defensive teams in the country.
I'll go with them.
Florida, what about them? What did they do in the SEC? Didn't they beat LSU this year? They did.
They've had a
Beat LSU.
great turnaround for sure.
I have UCF and UConn playing in a former AAC match.
I'm going to go with the Florida there in that game.
State and then Notre Dame. I mean, but Oklahoma's pretty good. What about them? Are they? You think they can win that game?
I think they can because, like a lot of Big 12 teams, they're really talented offensively. Taylor Robertson on the outside, Matty Williams on the interior, and on the wing. You know,
Yeah. Who does Notre Dame have?
Olivia Miles is a freshman point guard who has already exceeded a lot of expectations coming as a highly ranked recruit. You got Samantha Brunell coming off the bench as a sixth player, and that's just kind of her role right now. OU, I think Oklahoma will win that game.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is different though than they used to be. What do these teams do in their conference tournaments?
Oklahoma went out in the semis to Baylor. Notre Dame went out in the semis to Miami. And again, you know,
I'll go with Oklahoma. I trust them a little bit more. Kentucky, Indiana. How about that game? Indiana's pretty damn good.
Yeah, Indiana's sliding a little bit, but I think they're still better than Kentucky.
I have Indiana.
And then UConn, obviously coming out either against UCF or Florida.
UConn NC State is the expected matchup here. So there's that. We know about that. But you know, I said on another show, it's like biased to me. It feels that way a little bit because every year since we've even watched this basketball, right, or watched college or even read about any of this women's basketball stuff, you know, we've kind of seen, you know, looked at these brackets and been like, okay, yeah, there's always seems to be some Connecticut region they put, and they're always putting UConn there. Kind of like, I mean, now I get that. I understand that men's and women's, they do that where they try to put some of these teams kind of in their region, you know. But here they're at home base. They're literally at home, like probably 5 miles away from their home arena. I don't know, not 5 miles away, but you know, just joking. But I mean, there is a little bit of favoritism here, in my opinion. A little bit of cuddliness with the NCAA people, with UConn being the dynasty that they are. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I'm just saying.
Because we see Bridgeport as a region almost every year now.
Every year, and they're always in it, obviously. And they're always at home, and they get home games. And now, early on in the tournament, or there's other sites, but once we get Sweet 16 Elite Eight, it's only at the one site.
That's why they win a lot of the time.
They beat Louisville recently, a few years ago, when they were also there. I mean, every year they're there. So I don't know. Look, Stanford, they're not actually in California. They would be in Spokane. South Carolina's not actually in South Carolina. It'd be in Greensboro. It's favoritism a little bit. Sorry. I kind of got to call it how it is a little bit.
And we're going to wrap up with the Wichita region. Number 1 seed here is Louisville. There was a lot of debate coming in if it was going to be Louisville or Baylor. Baylor lost the Big 12 championship game to Texas. That opened the door for Louisville to be that number 1 seed, even though they lost in the ACC tournament to Miami. Cardinals going to take on Albany in the first round. Nebraska and Gonzaga playing in the 8-9. Oregon and Belmont, they're facing off in the 5-12 matchup. Tennessee and Buffalo playing in the 4-13. BYU Villanova is your 6-11 matchup. Michigan will play American in the 3-14 game. Ole Miss and South Dakota playing in the 7-10. And then you have Baylor, the number 2 seed, playing Hawaii, the 15 seed. So that's the Wichita region. And I think it's probably the easiest region to predict out of all of these, simply because we know Louisville, Baylor, Michigan, Tennessee. I feel good about Oregon, obviously, as well. I don't see many upsets or any threats coming out here.
I think all the first round games, I have the same ones you have. I mean, I have Louisville, Nebraska, Oregon, Tennessee, BYU, Michigan, Ole Miss, Baylor. That's what I have right now. There's just not many upsets that could happen. So, I mean, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, I have those same matchups as well. No, not really any disagreeing there.
And then after that, you have, I think, Louisville playing Tennessee. Or I could go either way, though, right? Oregon,
Mhm.
you know. Tennessee, you know, they have probably had a better season by a little bit. Michigan Baylor would be a good matchup. Baylor Louisville should be the matchup in the Elite Eight by far, easily.
Mhm.
Who's going to come out on top, though, in your opinion, in this region?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Baylor simply because I think when Melissa Smith gets back healthy, she would be the best player in that matchup, and would be the best player on the floor in that game. And the thing about Louisville is their backcourt is great with Van Lith, with Chelsea Hall, etc. But on the interior and on the wing, I don't think they have a player that could keep up with Melissa Smith. So if she gets back healthy and is playing at that number one pick type of level, I think she'll put Baylor over the top to get into the Final Four.
Final Four wise, I mean, I'm going with South Carolina playing Stanford to win in the championship, and I think they'll win those games. You know, playing whoever, UConn with Stanford. That's who I think. If it's Louisville or Baylor playing South Carolina, I just think that's the matchup. It's gonna be the Final Four rematch from last year. I think South Carolina's gonna win the whole thing this year. I just have a feeling about that. I could go either way, but I like South Carolina. That's what I got, and that's pretty much what you have. I think maybe both of y'all.
Yeah, I'm going to go with South Carolina to beat Stanford in the championship game. I think Stanford is a team that matches up very well with UConn if those two are to play coming out of Spokane and Bridgeport. Stanford has the interior and perimeter talent to keep up with UConn and beat UConn. So I think South Carolina and Stanford play there, but it's going to come down to the defense of South Carolina, which has anchored them all season long, and I think they get redemption from last year's loss to Stanford, who went on to win the championship. And I think it's about time that South Carolina gets another championship. They're the odds-on favorite right now, number one overall seed. I think they'll get it done.
I agree with that. South Carolina and Stanford in the championship. I mean, I think South Carolina is really going to be motivated if they indeed play them again, because the way they lost last year was devastating. You know, it was just not what they wanted to happen. Such a close game it was. So if they do play again, I think South Carolina is obviously going to remember that game, and really come out and 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 play really well. You know, but Stanford, I mean, they have the talent to repeat, but I think South Carolina would have outmatched them.
South Carolina beat Stanford in the regular season in Columbia. That was a great game. We'll see if we get that rematch. There could be a number of possibilities for that championship game, the Final Four. March Madness starting. This is a great time of year, the best time of year in college basketball. And with that, we have our men's recap and our women's preview as well into the tournament. We got both of these videos coming out here on the channel. So very excited. Watch both. Like and subscribe and comment all those things to support the channel.
Doing that, you know, with the brackets, you know, it's pretty fun to do that, and we'll see how the results play out.
Yeah, definitely fun to fill them out. Go through each team, each region, all that, and yeah, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see how they shake out.
We'll see how our predictions go. I think they'll be pretty, you know, hopefully accurate. You know, some to a degree. Can't get them all right, but we'll see.
Absolutely. And again, that's the fun thing about what we did this year, filling out the brackets on the show. You know, that's something that we haven't done before. You know, in the moment, we make those picks and we see if they come through. And with that, that wraps up our look at the NCAA tournament before everything gets started. Obviously, coming up over the next 3 weeks or so, we're going to be with you to cover the tournament, to cover all of these games on the men's side and on the women's side as well, with our Hoop Central podcast episodes and with our short videos as well, our short little recaps. Also, take a look at those. And like I said just a minute ago, like on these videos, comment as well, subscribe to our channel, all of those things to